Good effort.
It's atmosphere. It's setting the mood.
Do you want to hear the synopsis for this episode?
Sure.
With selfless hearts and a clash of metal, heroes fight from every corner of the battlefield to save Hawkins and the world itself.
Can I rent it on VHS from Real-Time Video?
I mean, maybe.
With the good case where you get to keep the cover art?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
That's how you knew.
I remember that.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Stranger Things, Season 4, Part 2, Episode 9.
The Piggyback.
Piggyback. I get it!
Yep.
I know those words, but that sentence didn't make any sense.
I piggybacked from a pizza dough freezer. Very funny.
We just finished it.
Yeah.
We plowed through it.
A lot of emotions.
It's kind of what you would expect. I mean, spoiler alert, the good guys win. For now.
They won. Significant. Hawkins has taken significant hit damage. That's all I'm saying.
Physically, mentally, emotionally.
All of it. All of the above.
Spiritually. Did you like it?
I did.
Yeah?
Yes, I did. It
Big
was big like, yeah. It was a good payoff. I think it's also the type of thing where it's like every season after season 1, I have initially thought I liked it less than the previous season.
Really?
Until I watch it again.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm like, this show is fucking incredible.
I had a theory it was going to watch differently a second time and B as a whole because of the fact that they had a 5-season plan.
Yeah.
And this type of sci-fi fantasy horror suits that sort of operatic storytelling.
Absolutely.
You know, believe it or not. They took several pages from many
places. Yeah.
But I noticed there was a couple more modern ones in this one. Like, I truly think the beheading was a Harry Potter homage.
Oh, 100%.
I think Max was a Infinity War homage.
Sure. Also, and
I don't mean that in like a stealing, and I don't think it was really reverse engineered.
Yeah.
But there's just moments all over this show where you can feel the DNA of its predecessors.
Sure. I also think, just going back to the Harry Potter thing, I think we can confirm Hopper is a Hufflepuff.
You think so?
Well, Neville was like almost a Hufflepuff, and it's like just that one moment of bravery, you know.
But what I started to say with all that is I think they took a page from the MCU playbook in that they really allowed it to build and grow into this thing that it is versus trying to punch straight through to the sky beams.
Yeah.
Because season 1, we had a monster. Season 2, we had a lot of monsters. Season 3, we had a big monster.
Yeah.
Season 4, we had a god. And season 5, we're going to have a world.
No, you're 100% right. I love that because I remember when we were talking about the like OG Suicide Squad, that like the one that came out first. And we were like, we're 20 minutes into this movie and there's a sky beam. Too soon for the sky beam. And you're totally right. They've elevated the stakes every season in a way that feels realistic and like...
It's like we said, I mean, the end of the first Iron Man movie is 2 machines fighting on a highway.
Right.
You know, and you build to...
And it also feels realistically like how I imagine a D&D campaign would go. Like one that spans months and months. This
was fantastic. Yeah. Borderline engineered in a lab. Borderline a little close. That it was a little bit checking every box. I loved it. I think it was great. I'm a little nervous for the precedent this is about to set, where I think we're going to be dealing with a
2.5 hour long part 1 and part 2 finale.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's going to be like I don't even remember the first one that did it.
Harry Potter.
I don't
know that it was the first,
because I think
from then Twilight did it, and then Hunger Games did it, and
it's like I'm not mad.
Wicked, the movie musical.
I'm not mad at it, but I don't always see the necessity. Now, I will say that I am fine with them breaking these 2 episodes off because I feel like they had to finish them. I feel like they were rushing to finish them.
I think it's Netflix dipping a toe into the not all at once.
Oh, they've done that. They do that for like, because we have licensing for
TV.
Bake Off. Yeah.
But
oh yeah, because I was like, with the circle. That's also reality TV, Kristen.
You know, I think that there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
However, the breaking it up allows it to stay in the cultural conversation
for longer,
much longer.
Yeah.
And I think that benefits everybody, up to and including Kate Bush.
Oh my God. If we don't get that arrangement from this episode.
You know what it reminded me of is, remember in Thor Ragnarok that
Immigrant song? Immigrant song.
Led Zeppelin?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let them do an orchestral. They let them use the song, but they wouldn't let it. And of course, because you have to lip service all that, but they were like, it was the right choice. I was like, it was not wrong the right choice. Always a cinematic version. Get your electric cello, put it in the arms of a beautiful Asian woman, and let her go to fucking town. Okay, just let it happen. Sure. We were lied to. There were not 5 deaths. I'm sure you could point to someone and we'd be like, oh yeah, I guess. But there were not 5 deaths of significance. There were 2 deaths of significance and 1 death of hate criminal. But I think they're counting, I think we said it, but spoilers. Yeah. They're counting the max. It's very Harry Potter, you get a death scene. Sure. I mean, she died. Yeah. They brought her back. Yeah. So, well, maybe. Her heart is still beating, but Elle was in her brain and it was empty. Yeah. Yeah. Also, gruesome. Because she basically, all the things happened to her. Well, the eyes didn't pop, but they got to that point. And they were like milky. So the recap part of this is Russia, our team, goes back to that little town. Well, because what's his nuts is dicking around. He pulled a spark plug out of Katinka and he's dicking around. He's running out the clock for some reason. He thinks it'll be more money somehow. Yeah, if he can keep them there and they do get chased back there, he'll still get his reward. Yeah, for turning on the people. But basically then, also they're calling him Dimitri, but Enzo. He basically is like, I've heard about you. I heard that you were a hero. We didn't find out what happened with them. Well, they obviously, we presume they survived. They made it somehow, probably. Yeah, there was no. But they were not there. I'm shocked. I thought we were going to lose Enzo for sure, and I didn't want to. Yeah. Because I think he's a great character, and also he's gorgeous. Oh my God, so hot. But anyway, then they end up saving Hop and Joyce. Well, they go to the thing. Joyce and Hopper have. I thought that something had happened with them. I thought that they had kind of like gotten together and then, but no, the official story is that it was mostly just high school. Yeah, she was still in season 2. She was with Bob. She was with Sean Astin, and then in season 3 she was still really gun shy after that. And then they left. Shit, and she stood him up because they made a date, and then she stood him up because the magnets kept falling off the fridge, and she went to see Murray instead. So yeah, okay. We also I don't know where Murray is. No, because he was not at the end either. They had to, and I can't imagine there's a single deleted scene. I swear to God, if you killed Brett Gelman off screen, furious. So they had a little moment. Hopper looks like Jesus Christ by way of Jamie from Outlander. Yeah, it's like the makeup front and back. The makeup's better on Hopper than it is in the early goings of Jamie, But yeah, and so they had their thing. Then they determined that they have to go back to the prison, break back into the prison because of the like upside down shenanigans. They think that they can. So they won't get back to Hawkins in time because everybody now seems to understand that like something's happening tonight. Like everybody kind of gets the vibe. And so the evil dies tonight. Why that turned into my... It is like your whole... A year later. Murder born. No, so basically, Joyce is like, if we can't get back to the kids and something's happening tonight, then we can get back to the prison because they saw all the particles, the smoky, swirly particles. And they're like, if we can fuck that up bad enough, we might be able to get the kids enough of an advantage to like make something happen, to like keep them safe. Does it ultimately do that though? It doesn't really have much effect. It doesn't not, because it's like in conjunction with the teens throwing the Molotov cocktails.
they are setting all of the other ones on fire, and it distracts Vecna just long
enough. It's got like a hive mind type thing.
Because then it also, all the bat things that are attacking Eddie and Dustin fall to the ground.
Well, and then Hopper, gladiator style, fought a Demogorgon and beheaded it with this like
a medieval sword.
He-Man Conan the Barbarian sword. Where the fuck did that come from?
So, okay.
Did they set it up and we just forgot?
I don't know. I put that on Twitter, and Next Best Picture Matt said that it was something that the soldiers had. And I was like, I mean, okay, but it felt still like a medieval sword. In the cockles
of my brain, it felt vaguely familiar. But
you know what? I think there was a scene with the warden. Regardless, very funny and weird. I love it. I mean, he didn't pull it out of a hat, so at least there's something, but...
Well, my favorite part is they get there, and I just said out loud, I was like, we'll be safe here. And it's like, in the arena.
Are you not entertained?
So, and then Enzo and Yuri show up and chopper them off with Katinka, who was bigger than we thought.
On the inside, apparently.
Like her namesake.
Like Katinka B.
So from there, we went back to the desert and they decided to put Elle in a pizza oven.
Like his name is Isaac Leahy. Not a pizza oven, a pizza like a freezer.
A pizza fridge, you know. It was fine. I was like, yeah, sure.
They made a little sensory deprivation tank so that because they also were like, we can't make it back to Hawkins in time, but Elle was like, Vecna's going to get in Max's head, and while he's in there, I can piggyback on that, and I can also get in her head and help protect her.
Jonathan Will got the short end of the stick in this entire season because their contribution to the climax was...
Yeah. Also, hold on. This is Will. Every fucking scene. I can't stand it. Give Noah Schnapp something to do. Give him something to do except for sob in front of his best friend who doesn't even realize he's crying.
Well, and then they had this like really nice conversation, Will and Jonathan, but the 1986 of it all kept rearing its head in my mind.
You know, you can talk to me about anything.
I'm just imagining Will being like, I think I'm gay. And Jonathan's like, whoa! Hey-o! You know what I mean? Like, that might fly in 2006 or 2016, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
They really are gonna not, it's whatever you think it is. They are not gonna commit with this commitment.
I agree with you that it's like they're not gonna say the words. It is so crystal clear to me.
No, I know, but it like did nothing came of it. Nothing of value. And it's whatever. There's so much happening. It is whatever.
Yeah.
So they like do that whole teleport thing that I've never understood, but I allow it.
What teleport thing?
Elle can just sometimes decide to go into other people's minds, and then sometimes it can have like outcome altering effects and can maybe resurrect people, but it's
I see.
It's a cheat.
Sure. Yeah.
It is absolutely a writing cheat.
I mean, I would say it's a cheat in the same way that the hive mind is a cheat. Yeah, I'm fine.
I am fine with it too. I'm just calling it like I see it. I mean, I'm sort of like, well, if she can do this, then why isn't she just constantly
just doing this? Yeah.
And I'm ready for her to age out of the one drip that I'm ready for it to be done.
I mean, it was even still happening to Jamie Campbell Bower in that final in the episode 7 fight.
You got me there. And so she teleports in to help, and then that's sort of the bulk was the Hawkins stuff. They all had a plan. They were well within their plan.
Oh yeah, they were fucking doing it.
Mm-hmm. They were going to have Max use herself as bait.
Yeah,
because she knew
Vecna had already
she knew the game. She knew how to play the game. But her bright idea was once he had her, she was then going to hide in a good memory?
Yes.
It's a solid enough theory. Well, that's
because she was like, I know how to counteract it.
Yeah.
And she managed it for a hot minute.
It did work, but it was one of those things where I'm like, they're taking a lot on faith
that
this is going to work the way they think it will. And Elle was even able to find her. It all, I mean, I'm giving it a little bit of a hard time, but it all played out pretty.
It checks out enough.
And while they're doing that, Jason came in to finish his story arc. I didn't like it. I didn't like any part of it, but I was sort of fine to just watch it play out. And I thought you and Rachel were going to turn inside out. You were so horrible. Angry.
Well, he's just got he's a Stephen King villain, which this season took a lot from Stephen King as well. And the thing about Stephen King villains is I hate them. And I hate the way he writes them because they don't get their punishment soon enough. They are truly awful. And they are the worst, most dangerous kind of villain because they, with their whole chest, believe their bullshit. He just is like, is this how you killed Chrissy? He's asking Lucas. Mm-hmm. He's beefed up. But little Lucas... This is how you killed Chrissy. Get her out of this trance. And it's just that's the thing. He is fucking rode hard.
That's why I was like, awful. He's possessed too. And I was like, oh no, that's just what happens when you don't sleep and are running a counter cult.
Talk about who's running a cult.
Well, because he was doing this thing. Erica.
His fucking buddy jump tackled Erica in the playground, and all he got for his trouble was a kick to the nuts. I guess she brained him with the flashlight too. Never mind.
He got plenty.
Erica's a fucking hero.
I was with you. I was hoping Erica was going to shoot Jason.
Me too. Pick up the gun and just like.
That would have been.
He did get eviscerated.
His logic is funny and infuriating because I love that it's like I love those characters that they're like, we got to lock on this part that these people killed Chrissy. Mm-hmm. The introduction of magic, the only change that makes is, oh, so you did it with magic.
Yeah.
Not, well, wait a minute. If there's magic, there could be other aspects to this story or to this incident that I don't know. And so he's like, how'd you kill her? It's like, oh, is this how you killed her with all the magic? It was a lot. There was all kinds of very, icky, timely implications, and it was
just beating him to hell, strangling him. A white
Jason just
boy
has such like cop energy.
Oh yeah, a white boy in a letter jacket holding a gun on a black kid that we all know and love. Absolutely not.
It was rough, but as you did mention, it was actually pretty spectacular. It was too quick and a little bit too much of an aside. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not really one of those slow and painful death types of people.
For some people, I am.
I am.
For some people.
Wonder Woman came up and said, I'll kill people. Whooshing.
He at least needed a roller skate to the face first.
But no, he like the fault line wwent right through him,
right in the middle.
It was
because Lucas does get out of it, and he fucking beats him unconscious, which is it does only take like 2 punches. It's pretty great
because he was a punk.
Yeah, a super punk.
Why don't you go flip your hair?
It's like, okay, I don't need do you remember when we watched Midnight Mass and my husband got so mad? I'm not going to spoil that here, but my husband got so mad that the one character just dies. Mm-hmm. The way that they die. And I was like,
I thought it was suiting.
The like emotional poetry of that moment though is so perfect. And like this to me, it didn't, I guess if you think about it, if you keep the thought experiment going, it does kind of have it because he doesn't mean anything. And so his death is nothing. It just happens. So that's fine. Also, we can maybe presumably think that when the fault line went through, it also got the guy that Erica kicked in the balls out on the street. So,
well, like we didn't meet any of their parents, so there weren't really any like repercussions or anything like that. Eddie and Dustin were distractions for the pterodactyl things.
Yeah,
they were very stupid about it because the entire like linchpin of their plot hinged around being loud and making noise. Mm-hmm. And when the things came, they just kept making noise. And I was like,
well, they had to make noise until they actually got there so that Robin and Steve and Nancy would have enough time at the house.
I understand that, but then they were just screaming, hiding inside of this thing. And I was like, you've already, I mean, I guess if they were trying to keep them there, but
I also think they probably could have been doing it from like a sturdier location than like a trailer, but
they were working with what they had. Robin, Steve, and Nancy kind of like stealthed around and then got choked a bit. Mm-hmm. And it was Again, it sounds like I'm shading it. I'm not. No. It was fun, but there was times where I was just like, how long have these people been choking out on this wall? But
well, because that's the kind of thing.
You have to imagine it's all happening.
It's all happening concurrently. So it's like you keep cutting back and forth, but it's all happening concurrently. Yeah, I agree. I get what you mean. They are doing good dancing between the like vines until the first earthquake happens, and then Robin like gets taken first, obviously, because she stepped on one.
Well, and they did reestablish that. They really earned that. But where she was not clumsy was at the end of the episode, but we'll get there in a minute. So the other part of the teenage plot was that while Max was distracting Vecna, Robin, Steve, and Nancy were going in within the Upside Down. We're going to go find his body where it was all plugged in, and they were going to burn it with fire, and they did, and it worked mostly. Yeah.
So he's extremely injured, but then it was like a whole Halloween Michael Myers thing because they like got back out. He fell out the window.
Third homage.
Yeah, he fell out the window. They go out. It's like maybe 10 seconds before they get downstairs and out the front door, and he's already gone. The like front lawn is smoldering, but he's already gone.
Also, Elle did show up in Max's memory, and they threw down mostly Elle and Vecna, but it was good. It was in fun. I do love because he was getting Max, and then was that before or after?
It was before.
It was before.
But Mike was talking to Elle and...
Well, I was just saying because Vecna was there and then the camera like pans over and Elle's behind him and it was like, yeah.
Oh, that. Yeah,
and I just love that it's like a teenage girl is going to save the world.
Amazing.
Once again.
Yeah.
I guess that's when the actual like the shit's hitting the fan and the Death Star like happening. Max gets all 4 appendages snapped. It was rough.
And her eyes started going.
Yeah.
Lucas was like calling for her, trying to get, but then fucking Jason stepped on her Walkman, so Lucas couldn't even put the headphones back on.
There's a part of me was like, are they just gonna have to start singing? That's gonna be hard to pull off.
Yeah.
It's gonna go to a real Glee place.
We don't need another Never-Ending Story moment.
Yeah, all of them like holding hands.
You guys sing Kate Bush. Like fucking Steve likes Huey Lewis in the News. He doesn't know Kate Bush.
They go into Annie Lennox. Like, yeah, and then she does die, but Elle maybe brings her back to life. We touched on that a little bit.
It's unclear, even Lucas says the doctors don't know if or when she'll wake up or anything like that.
So when Vecna was being consumed,
burned,
it sent either 4 earthquakes out or 2.
4, because there was one they did cross.
Oh,
but
the 4 gates.
There was one in every murder site. So yeah,
and it kind of ripped open the town, and there was chaos.
Bisected the town.
Yeah. So then 2 days later, everybody's sort of dealing with the aftermath.
It's like a Sunnydale, like gang members on PCP. This is the only answer. And I'm like, all right.
Well, there were plenty of people leaving, none of our heroes. But...
No. And in fact, some were driving into town because our desert folks are like just making it back to Hawkins. And so they're like helping Steve, who everybody was 100% certain was going to die, is fine. And Steve and Robin.
And he didn't even, I was thinking that they were going to gotcha us because I was thinking.
I did. The whole like kind of idyllic 2 days later part, I was like, when does the clock start ticking? And Vecna's like, ha ha.
No, I believe that. But I thought, I don't remember, but I thought they were going to gotcha us with Steve. I thought he was going to make it through like the actual battle. But then it was like, because he got bit by those things. Yeah. And so I thought it was going to be like a poison, like inside him type thing.
I don't know. Will was in the Upside Down for like weeks and he's fine.
But did it break the skin? You know what? Like, what thing got him? Like, what thing? Because he vomited a slug. So, I mean, it's fine as you can be. What?
No, you're right.
Nancy and Jonathan was real awkward.
Just break up, man.
She's trying. He knows.
He's like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, totally. Everything's fine. Why would you even ask me that? Natalia Dyer's already relatively high voice went a full octave higher. She was like, no, why would you think anything's wrong?
She's a real MVP.
Yeah.
She pulled through a lot in this.
She's great. I think she's really great.
And that's what I started to say with Robin. It's because Robin ended up going to do the like relief or what do you
Robin and Steve and Dustin were all helping. Work. Yeah. Because they had like a shelter set up at the high school.
Vicky was there and Vicky spun out.
Verbal diarrhea, if ever there was some.
She brought in a bed to shit. It was like
she did.
And Robin was smooth sailing. It was really good. I was like, man, that time with Steve really helped her. And I was actually, it was Nancy. It was Nancy, because remember back like a month ago with the first time they had to be together, Nancy was just like, are you quite finished?
I beg your pardon.
So yeah, they had their moment, and based on the ending, I would imagine we'll have Vicky with us.
I hope so. I mean, I would at least. I think they if they're not gonna let Will kiss a boy, then Robin should kiss a girl.
Well, it's Annabeth McNulty, who is Anne with an E. So it's like, I mean, she is established and
she's Netflix established too. Yeah. No, I liked it quite a lot. I liked the helping. Dustin had a really nice scene with Mr. Munson, who apparently people keep drawing pentagrams on the missing Eddie Munson poster, and the news is still reporting him as a person of interest that's missing in all the murders. And so basically Dustin tells Mr. Munson that like he knows that Eddie was innocent, and also he's not missing. He was there when the earthquake hit.
That's one of the reasons why I don't jump on, especially like social media, like pitchfork mobs and bandwagons and stuff. Like, you never know what kind of supernatural shit's happening. We don't know what timeline this is.
Fair enough.
But we think we know, and 100%. Karen's on the internet with, but it's like,
yeah. And I think it was just nice. I am very bummed to lose Eddie. I really, really, really liked him, but I think it's better to lose him than Steve now. Like, if Steve dies in the final season, whatever.
I don't think he will.
But I just was like, we can't lose him with a whole season left.
I think if we were going to kill Steve, it would have happened here or 2 episodes ago. It would have been this season. I agree. I liked Eddie, and I definitely think there's a reality where he stayed on the show.
However, didn't get to see the Lord of the Rings.
He didn't.
I'm so sad for Eddie Munson.
Where it feels poetic, the poetic justice feels to me is because we liked Chrissy so much, and she was so brutally taken away from us that I feel like he bookends it in a way.
Sure, 100%.
And somewhere on a Titanic staircase, they get to watch Lord of the Rings from afar. Because I even said there was a point where I was like, are we going to find a way to Avengers Endgame this? And like bring everybody back. And I was like, I don't think we will. They're certainly not. Well, actually, there quite literally is a precedent for it now that Elm maybe brought Max back. But
but I also think that we might keep Ed Quinn. Like, we might see him again.
Well, we saw Dacre.
Yeah. So it's
Billy
like
in this.
Yeah.
So.
We might see him again, whether like how that happens as the role. Because we didn't get any new footage of. Well, only in the one episode we did. So.
And then this one.
There was new? Oh, okay.
Of him coming through the doors and stuff.
No, that happened.
No, I know, but they filmed it.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're not necessarily killing characters willy-nilly, but they do it, and it does have merit. It has weight. It has meaning. And so I'm at peace with it. I
appreciate that because otherwise I would have been nervous every single moment of season 5. I appreciate that even though we didn't actually lose any, like, we haven't 100% officially lost any core members because Max's heart is still beating, so that's a whole thing. But I appreciate that we lost someone who was directly involved, because so far we haven't actually killed anyone who's been like hard in the mix. Like, you could argue Alexi, but there was still not 100% involvement. And so it's like Barb was, only Nancy's friend, very periphery. So I'm glad that we finally lost someone of like 2, I guess, someone's of consequence.
Well, it goes back to the poetry, like the justice of it, because it's like, I mean, casualties, death of the innocent, no good deed. Those are, I mean, they're tropes, but they're not always feel good.
Well, because also at a certain point, all of these people can't possibly survive this many things.
And this cast,
although they do get fucking strapped before they go in, like strapped.
Well, I was gonna say this cast bloats. The bloat is a bad word.
It's ballooned.
It embiggens balloons.
Embiggens.
It's a perfectly cromulent word.
Sure.
No, it's like and I guess that's where the longer run times have come in.
Yeah.
Is it's prevented it from getting too unwieldy. But I don't think season 5 is going to be about who dies next. I don't think this is a Game of Thrones type show.
I hope not.
I mean, I think people can and possibly will die.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the point. I don't think we're tuning in to see, to the victor go the spoils type situation. There's talk of there being a time jump. I don't need it. I don't know how far along they are either. Because it's like I was waiting for a preview of season 5 and I was like, oh no, it's going to be 2027 by the time we get it.
I think somebody said they're like shooting for 2024.
That feels right.
Which means there's like a year and a half, depending on what time in there.
That feels right.
We do get reunited. Basically, everyone gets reunited at the end. Hop and Joyce come back. They're in the cabin trying to get it set up for Elle to hide her. It's really nice. She and Hopper have a nice reunion.
Didn't know Hopper was alive.
No, yeah, she had no idea.
I forgot all of that.
She was like, I kept it because even there, I saw some people talking about it on the internet. She was in California, leaving her door open 3 inches. There was like a gap when she's making her diorama. But yeah, her and Hopper have a really nice reunion. Her and Joyce have a really nice reunion. Everybody's hugging. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And then ash starts falling from the sky.
I really liked the line in the sand,
the
proverbial and literal, where it was like the flowers and then the like dead.
Yeah.
And it was very pretty, very cinematic. Will pointed out while we were watching the previous episode where he was like, these cinematographers are fantastic because he was like, this is cinematic in a way that like you get sometimes on television, but not always. And I think Netflix is aware of what this is to them.
Definitely.
And it's there.
I think this is we can complain about Netflix all day, and we have done so previously, and
we will right now.
And no. I'm going to praise them because I think this is the stuff that Netflix is so great at, because they know what they have with this show, and I think they know what they have with the Duffers, and because of that, I think they are like, do whatever it takes for you to finish this show the correct way. And that's just what I want. More studios to like.
As Game of Thrones ending, they were like, don't do that.
No, it's unbelievable. And it's sort of like,
sorry, go ahead.
I want Netflix to give a contract to Brian Fuller. I want Brian Fuller to have this amount of money.
That's Neil Gaiman. They're linked in my mind. What's wild is Tom Wallachia.
That's close enough. I have no idea.
Is in Game of Thrones and Stranger Things. 2 of the biggest shows of all time. 2 of the biggest shows at the time, even airing concurrently. That's wild to think, because he's people like we like him, we recognize him, but it's like I don't know. That's interesting to think.
Tertiary character that was in some Arya episodes.
Well, I think the Faceless Man was memorable, but it's just interesting to me how it's like you think of people who are like bona fide movie stars.
Oh yeah,
and they have a lot of people who are bona fide movie stars have just like a conveyor belt of turkeys under their belt.
Yeah.
And then here's some dude who's good at his job, and he's in 2 of the biggest shows of all time.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
No, 100%.
It's funny. It's how the world and the industry changes.
That's why 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is a thing, is because he just kept getting relatively small parts. He connects to so many people through A Few Good Men. He is a very small character in that movie. It's just funny. I love stuff like that.
Karen Wheeler was there. Her hair was there. She didn't do a lot. She's saving it for next season.
Let's get a blowout, Karen Wheeler.
I want a giant cardboard cutout. We just go all in on Karen Wheeler.
See if we can find one.
Stop me there, I guess.
Yeah, I mostly just dug it. I am excited to not think about this for a long time, and then to think about it.
Have to watch.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to watch this again in 2 years.
Yeah, and then I'm very excited for about a week and a half of my life to be consumed by it.
In between part 1 and part 2, Will went and watched starting from you did too.
I watched all of it before part 1, and I rewatched part 1 before today.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, yesterday and this morning.
Dedicated. You also do that. You're more prone to do that.
I also wasn't paying laser focused attention because I was working at the same time. So
Will sat in there and watched from episode 1, season 1 all the way through. And he was kind of excited about it, but he was like, no, it's good. It checks
really good.
Like we weren't just in the moment. Yeah. It's like, it's great. So
also it has been Vecna all along. Which they officially confirmed in this. Will can still feel him.
They said it like it was a big reveal, and I was kind of like, I mean, that's
Well, there apparently, if you go back, which I didn't really realize because obviously I watched season 1 before this, but you can hear the clock when Will gets taken, and I think when Barb gets taken, you can hear the clock. So this is the kind of shit, like, give more money to people who have their story on a lock like this. That's what I want.
And on that note, we'd like to interest you in Fairy Tale. It is a classic. It is a modern mashup of classic fairy tale characters and tropes. And it is not for children.
No.
It's not like porn. But every time I say that, I'm like, it's an adult book. And I'm like, it's not like erotica. No. There's like barely, 2 sex scenes in it?
2 fade to whites. It's like...
Well, one of them is a little bit... You tell us. Fucking read it and find out.
Are you sure? This is one...
Please don't tell us. I don't want that kind of feedback.
This is one chili pepper. Don't worry about
it. But no, if you would like to watch or read, and then maybe one day watch something like Stranger Things, but if Gossip Girl and Game of Thrones was Stranger Things, that's what this is.
Sure. Yeah.
I was gonna say point to where I was wrong. Tell me the part that did not.
There are monsters, so it checks. It checks out. It checks out. He's right.
Do you like werewolves and mermaids? You might get one of those.
There's a link on our website, soimwatching.com. Also, throw us a like and a subscribe. And
a comment.
Yeah.
Only good ones, though. We're good.
I'm solid on negatives right now. Bye.